Wherever it's shut off, we're picking up on Hilchos Avelus, Laws of the Yard Sign on page 195. So the Gesher Chaim notes that it's an important day for the mace, as it involves an element of judgment for him in Shamayim. B'yom ha'yartzeit shel ha'manoach, mispalim li'ilui nishmaso. When we daven, as Hillel said, it's for the raising of the neshama. Why? Hu yom ha'dedina b'nogeh li'iluyav. So obviously there are different levels in Shamayim, and he's actually going through a judgment on that day. Does he get kicked upstairs or not? U'kedivrei ha'arizal, sha'kadish sha'oimim ha'yisoyim koyuz beit chodesh, hu la'alois aviyah migehenem legan eden. That the 12 months saying Kaddish is to bring the father from Gehenim to Gan Eden. V'yom ha'yartzeit hu la'alois began Eden atzmo l'madrega yoter me'ula, even a higher place. Ayidei ma'aseh haben imu zakai. And based on the worthy actions of a worthy son, it's possible that they can go even higher than Gan Eden.
The question is the father, the father was a religious person, good person. The son's a bum, right? And the son doesn't say Kaddish, nothing. Does that mean the father is never going to his?
He'll have his.
Well,
if he has very good zechuyos in his own lifetime, he may be in a very high place.
Right.
But this is giving the mace a boost. If you raised very good children, you're going to be boosted based on your children. The Ramah writes that it's a mitzvah for a child to fast on the day of the yard side of a parent. Says the Ramah, mitzvah lisanos b'yom shemeis of o'em. The poskim write that one who fasts should make sure to accept upon himself during mincha of the previous day, at the end of the Amidah, that he plans to fast, based on the following statement of the Gemara in Tainis. Omer Shmuel, kol Tainis shelo kibel alav nibod yom, lav shmei Tainis. Means if you didn't accept the Tainis from the day before, while it's still daytime, then it's not considered a Tainis. You went on a fast, but it's not really, he doesn't have the halachic status of a Tainis. The Yalkut Yosef also mentions the custom of fasting, but adds that if one is a Talmid Chacham and fasting would impair his ability to learn Torah, one should not do so. Yesha nohagin lisanos b'chol shana b'yom tiras aveim, or b'yom tiras rabo. Uminag tov v'choshuv, it's a good minig. Ulan, imatanit mafriya, lo b'limud ha-Torah. If it affects his limud, should be glala. Because of that, imanam lelechet l'shir Torah, you want to go to shir, or Talmid Chacham, she might be limuda b'layla b'glala tainis. Ein lisanos shouldn't, he advises not to fast. Ela yirbu b'limud ha-Torah, learn more Torah, b'yom zeh. Yoisim arogel. He says, do a tainis dibur. Don't speak for 24 hours, as opposed to a regular tainis. I will say that I had a minig after my father passed away to fast on the yard side. And when I was chief resident at UCLA, so I was 31 or 30 at the time, and it was it was in the summer. I just became the chief resident. One of our responsibilities as chief resident, we had to do all the kidney transplants. And the kidney transplants came in, as an emergency. All of a sudden you would get a donor, and it would have to be organized. It was like at 1:00 in the afternoon, and I was on call, and I had to do the kidney transplant. So, but I had fasted for 10 years, I don't know how long, more, since I learned about this minig of fasting. So I literally had to go to the kollel. The Lakewood kollel had just come. It's in the mid-'80s. I remember Rabbi Bess and Rabbi Grossman, I think, and maybe Rabbi Graydon. They had to do a bezdin, and they had to be matir neder. Because if you fast 3 times in a row, it's like you did a neder. So I had to be matir, unless you say bli neder, but I hadn't done that. So they actually did hatoras nedorim, and then ever since then I didn't take them in. I didn't resume the custom because it's just dangerous. As a surgeon who's on call, it's not fair that I can't go into the surgery fasting. You gotta,
And now, do you fast?
No, so I'm saying I never reneged the custom because I'm in the same situation.
Yeah.
I could be called or do an emergency surgery, etc. Whatever. Anyways, so
you can't pick 1 year. You know what? I'm going to fast.
You could, but if you do it. If you do it, you have to be makabelet from the Shmona Esrei by Mincha the night before.
So how they don't talk about the
Hasidic customs, they may not be brought by Ikar Halacha. It's not Ikar Adin. Huh? Yeah, but it's all about Ilu Neshama. Make a bracha. What's the concept of tikkun? That the people bring food, so you should make a bracha. And every time you make a bracha, you were goyrim that another bracha was made. That's more zechuyos for you.
Right. Now, is there anything with this yortzeit fasting? Is it just for the parents, or it's for anyone?
It says avvaim. The Ramos says avvaim, right? Mitzvah lisanus b'yom shemes avoim.
Oh, right. Okay.
We don't have a right. Yeah. So today, many people do not fast on the day of a yahrzeit due to the weakness that it causes and the fact that we are not used to fasting on a regular basis. However, one should instead make sure to study Torah, perform acts of kindness, or give more tzedakah on the memory of the deceased. Chaim, if the footnote, another custom mentioned by later sources is the notion of bringing some food and drink for others to partake following chakras, with everyone having in mind that the brachos recited should be in memory of the deceased and elevated soul. Exactly like we said. But it's a later custom, so it wasn't brought by the original poskim. Another custom practiced on the day of the yortzeit is for the son of the deceased to serve as the chazan, right, if possible. If it's a Monday or Thursday, he should get an aliyah. It says like this: so let's say it's a Friday, so he should get an aliyah on Thursday, or Tuesday or Wednesday, he should get an aliyah on Monday. And then he says, "Uv'Shabbos hakodim oila lamaftir." He says the Shabbos before the yard site, you should get maftir. Now, if the yard site falls on Shabbos, you should get one of the Shiva Kruyim. You have to get an oila within the Shiva Kruyim if the yard site falls bo bayom. But you see very clearly that if the yard site's in the middle of the week, you give the guy maftir. Now, therefore, then, what do we do? Very often the balei maftir were given musaf. Why? Because maftir is not a real aliyah. So because he feels bad. So to compensate the Baal Maftir, they gave him Musaf. But Meikar Adin, if your Yotze is on the day, he should get Shachris. Shachris and an aliyah. That's if you know, that's according to the strict halacha.
Today it's clear that people value Maftir as you just look at the price people pay for Maftir on a Yontiv, it's clearly people value it as probably one of the highest aliyahs.
But halachically doesn't have the same status. Doesn't have the status of one of the Sheva Kruyim. Very clear.
Differently. And one time there was a person in our shul whose yortzeit was Bo Bayom, and I went to him and he wanted him after and I said,
don't you know it's better to get a record full aliyah?
Right?
And he was not happy.
He was insulted.
Okay.
He felt bad.
Yeah, he didn't get him after?
He wanted him after. I said, okay.
No, Jerry, what we're saying is, if the poskim say that when your yard site is in the middle of the week, you get maftir on Shabbos. But we just read that you're supposed to get an aliyah the day of your yard site. But an aliyah is one of the sheva, one of the real kruyim, one of the 3 aliyahs, or one of the 7 aliyahs. So technically, if your yard site falls out on that Shabbos, you should get shlishi, or revi, or chamishi, not maftir. That's a high. Those are higher, even though the maftir. Why do people like maftir? Because they like their voice and they want to hear themselves laying the haftorah. But that doesn't have the same status of an aliyah as the sheva kruyim. So that's what Chaim is saying. So he once went to a person and he wanted to be machabed him appropriately with an aliyah like shlishi, but he wanted maftir. But strict halacha, it's better for him to get the aliyah on the day of a regular aliyah if the yard site's on that day. Now, what date should be used as the date of the yard site? The day of the death or the day of the burial? So how is the date determined in a case where the burial took place a day or two following the death? The Trumas Hadeshin rules that even in this case, the day of death is the determining criteria. And that's the accepted opinion of contemporary poskim. So you see, there's a machlokas regarding it, but we are noyeg like those that say that the yard site is the day of death, not the day of Kfura.
I thought maybe the first year was different, no?
Sheila. Rabim chalukim b'davra zeh. Yesh mis'anim v'omrim kadosh u'borcha b'yom ha'misa, v'yesh b'yom ha'kfura. Eze mehem shaper tfei. So a question was asked, the Trumas Adeshon was an early Rishon. So in that time, somebody questioned the Trumas Adeshon, which is the better minig? Tshuva. Yired b'yom ha'misa shaper tfei. He says it's better that it should be done on the day of the death. Says the Yalkut Yosef, "B'chol minhagei yom hashana yesh lelech achar yom haptira im yodea matay hayaf." You know when it is. V'lo achar yom hakfura. And says Jerry, "Hein b'shana harishona v'hein b'shanim shalach mikei." No difference, first year, second year, any year. It's always the day of death. He says like this: "Rak le'inyan minhagei avelut." That means don't listen to music and all the various Avelus, don't go to a suit and all that. That was held. Let's say if the Yom HaKfur was 2 days beyond the Yom HaMisa, you hold those dinim till the Yom HaKfur. That's the difference. Aval Shara in Yonim, to go on Azkara, Tainis, Siyum Amiras HaKadish, Ubikar B'Beis HaKvaros. Because we're going to see there's a minute to go to the basic force on that day. Yesh l'kvor b'yom ha'misa gam b'shana rishona. V'noigim also as azkar b'shana rishona b'yom ha'kvura. Those that do the minig, where they do the memorial a year after the burial, u'v'shana b'az b'hamisa, yesh lehem ha'moshi smochu v'nar nar pshi pashtei. He says, you have someone to rely on. So somebody wants to do that minig, it's not the end of the world, he says. What about visiting the basic kvaros? It's customary to visit the grave of a relative on the yard site. V'noagam levakas hakever b'yom ha'yard site, u'mispalim sham le'ilui neshama, u'v'tiferes Yisrael, right? The commentary on the Mishnayos in the end of Adius says, Mishum hachi b'yom ha'yard site nos le'lech al hakever, ki az yesh al neshama hashpok doilel la'afitz oira ad lehevlet the groma shebekever. Listen to this. The tefillas of the kever cause the light in Shamayim to somehow infuse the bones of the mace that's in the kever. There's specific seven kapitlach tefillim. After those 7, oimrim oisios shmoi v'oisios neshama mimizmor kufyutes. Right, kufyutes is the right where there's Aleph Beis through Aleph through Taf, 8 psukim from every letter. So what you do is you take the person's name, Yaakov ben Yechezkel, right? And you Yud, and you say Mizmor and Ayin, right? And Ben, and you do that, and then you spell out the word Neshama, Yaakov ben Yechezkel Neshama. V'achkach tfilas Ana, the Kaddish. You should try to get a minyan there. You want to say there's a memorial tefillah, right? And Kaddish. You should try to get 10 people to come on that yard site day.
Because that's why they do an unveiling.
But I'm talking about. I've been going for 52 years to visit, 53 years, to Mount Carmel. I've never done it b'asara. But he says it's better to do it b'asara. Aval ein la'asik minyan, yachol kama yochel yispalo. V'lo misham izmaret tehillim utfilas ana v'lo kaddish. But you don't say kaddish if you don't have 10.
Well, tfilas Ana.
I think it's Avinu Malkeinu. I mean, not Avinu Malkeinu. El Mole. He says the memorial prayer. So you would say Kel Mole. Imchala Yartzei B'Shabbos, Yesh Ma'achim Sabikul L'Machraso, V'yesh Magdim L'Mvakar Zacher V'Erev Shabbos Kodesh. So he doesn't. He says you could visit Sunday, you could visit Friday. The Yalkut Yosef also mentions other prevalent customs of a yard site. B'Yom Yard Site Shalom Anoch B'Spal Melu Nishmasoi, V'Noagim Lilmud Mishnayos, Lilu Nishmasoi B'Oisis Hashem Shalom Manoich. Same thing. You would try to find Mishnayos with the same letters, and of course there's a yard site candle. V'Noad L'Gak Ner B'Yom Kudas Hashana Shel Aviv V'Shel Imo V'Omrim Kaddish. So again, he says a yard site candle is only for a father and a mother. He doesn't say that it's for other Shar Kroivim. When does one recite Kaddish for yard site? The custom of the Ashkenazis is to recite Kaddish on the day of the yard site alone, as this is what is mentioned in most of the classic sources on the subject, particularly the Ramon Yordeya. Or the custom of many Sfardim is to begin reciting Kaddish on the Friday night beforehand, after Bameh Madlikin, as reported by the Yalkut Yosef. If the yahrzeit is on Wednesday, this is for Sfardim. Kaddish ma'arvi shalol Shabbos v'hala. Kaddish achar b'meh madlikim ad yom haptira ba'ad bichlal. That means you do it until the yard site and you say it on the yard site.
A lot of Hasidim get, that's what a lot of Hasidim probably get the custom.
No, the Hasidim daven Motzei Shabbos Ma'ariv.
Yes, right.
That's something else, because they say that the mace is taken out of Gan Eden already then, and so there are people that the Hasidim want to daven Ma'ariv Motzei Shabbos, and you're supposed to prolong Baruch, and this has to do with that issue. But this is Minik Sfard.
But no, but
I've never seen Hasidim
Not
start from Bameh
necessary.
Madlikim.
To daven, to be shliach tzibur on the Shabbos
Before.
the word says.
Okay.
Before
Well,
you
here
go-
it just says it just says Loimar Kaddish.
Right, to make
He
it-
doesn't say to be the
Before
chazan.
you go on, between Mincha
Yes.
and Marav, when the Rav will say, let's say, Dvar Torah, okay? Then you say,
Bameh Madlikin. No, Bameh Mad- we say it after Bameh
I'm not talking
Madlikin.
about Shabbos, I'm talking about during the week.
Go
Between
ahead.
Mincha and Marav,
Yes.
let's say one of the rabbis there will say a
Yes.
few words of Torah, and then you
Yes.
go into Marav.
Yes.
That Kaddish Rabbanan,
Yes.
is that for that night, or is it for, if I have your side that night,
It depends. If it's already after Shkia,
like a shart filler?
but Mincha should be daven. Mincha has to be daven before Shkia. So
So the Marav.
so no. So now if it's after Shkia,
It's for the learning before you start Marav.
So it's not
No.
for,
it's not for the Mincha. It's not for the day
No,
before.
but if
It's already
dark
after.
already, If
If it's already dark, it's after Shkia. So there's nothing to do with the day before.
yeah, so you.
By it's always there's a shaila by the Bameh Madlikin there by Erev Shabbos, because so that's because you bring Shabbos early. So, but for L'chora, if the learning is done at night, so only somebody who has the art site that night would say Kaddish. But you would be finished already.
Mhm. No, but I mean, I'm gonna start that night, that's the thing, I'm starting tonight, let's say.
There is a
And the
major
other Sundays-
machlokas Hillel regarding if someone had a yard site on Friday, do you say that Kaddish in the Bameh Madlikin? Most hold you don't. Some say they do. Because that's already part of Shabbos. Part of the next, Mizmor Shil Yom HaShabbos, you already accepted Shabbos. So even if you daven, remember, we're talking about it's 5 PM. You've davened early. Because you're allowed. Rav Matzli Erev Shabbos for Shabbos. You're allowed to accept Shabbos early, even, as long as it's after Plag. So you can accept Shabbos early. So it's daytime, so it's calendarically, it's still the previous day. But since you accepted Shabbos, so does it move the calendar or not? That's what the debate is based on. And there's Rabbi Kiva, like if somebody gets bar mitzvah, so if that Friday, is he already a bar mitzvah? Let's remember let's say he was bo bayom that Shabbos. Can he daven? That means he can't, because really he's not a 13-year-old until Shkia. Just because we have this concept you can accept Shabbos early, did you move the date earlier? No. But so the practical minig is that we don't say Kaddish if your yahrzeit was that Friday. That's a little bit what you were asking about. That's a more interesting question than what he asked about the Torah. That's after Shkia.
He says Mishnah Brura or whatever, the Rav, right? And then they say Kaddish Rabbana. Does the person have your side that night say that Kaddish Rabbana?
Yes.
After Shkia.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's after
it's
Shkia.
automatic after Shkia, when they set the time.
You're not allowed to daven mincha after Shkia.
They saw on Marav. So
I'm saying so. Myriv.
If
No, so he said in Mishnah.
If the
So he
yahrzeit
said
is
that.
Tuesday and it's Monday. It's Monday night. So after Mincha on Monday, you don't have the chiyuv, but he says a Dvar Torah, and right before Marav, they say a Kaddish. So he's asking, is that Kaddish
When is the
never
person?
do.
When is the person's yard site?
Tuesday?
So if it's after
Tuesday
Shkia
night.
and he said the Torah after Shkia, I would say you would say Kaddish. Absolutely,
Huh?
I would say you'd say Kaddish. And the guy on Monday would not say Kaddish anymore.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. L'chora, it comes out from
So
there.
it's Mara, it's really technically.
Let's see what he says. So uminag nachon v'yisodato ba'arei. Great men have this yisod. V'chiyom shepashat ken aminig b'rovat sidra ein l'shanus b'zeh. He says today this is the minig. We shouldn't change. This is for Sfardim. Remember, the Yalkut Yosef is a Sfardi. He says since this is the practical minig among the Sfardim today, it would be a zilzul to his parents if we didn't do it. V'chal Yom Pekudas Hashanah b'Shabbos. He says, Matchil Mamar Kaddish Hechel Mitfilas Arvis Shalel Shabbos HaKodim. So you say, you start saying Kaddish a whole week
Yeah, the whole
before.
week of your tzad.
דהיינו קדש על ישרול שומעים אחר במעמד מדליקים. אומרים קדש כל שבוע, עד סוף שבת שנייה שהוא יום היארצייט. ולמה? עיקר מצווה קדש בתפילה הוא ביום היארצייט. כנהג Arizal. We will conclude the series of Shiurim on the laws of Avelus by stating that although these halachas are important to know, we pray that they will not be necessary to be put into practice, and the well-known prophets of Yeshayahu should be fulfilled in our day. Bila amavis hanetzach u'moach Hashem lokim dima me'al kol panim.
So are we finished now?
We are finished, Avelus, yes.
Go out.
Okay, so